Hi, everybody. Okay, I finished this book yesterday. That's not 2 days ago. I finished this book 2 days ago. It's a book that I really, really wanted to read. And I'd seen the movie a couple times, really loved the movie. And then I went to the bookstore and I was trading in some books and I had some book credits to kind of trade in. And this book was on the shelf and I had not yet read it. And I said, I need to get this book. I want to read it. Because sometimes, just like with some of the other movies that have been adapted from books, like I like to go back and read the books, or usually I read the books first and then watch the movie, so I can see how closely they're connected to each other. And I was so glad that I read this book. I'm really happy to talk with you about it today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talking Books with Tanisha. I am Tanisha, and today's book is Crazy Rich Asians. Before we dive into it, have you made any comments in the comments section? What books are you reading? Who are you talking to about your books? What's the next book in your to be read pile? How big is your to be read pile? What books are in your to be read pile? Like, what are all the books that you're kind of holding up and saving for? Um, how do you decide what book to read and when? What's your favorite book ever? Like, these are questions I want you to think about and answer in the comment section. Like, put those in there for us. We're building a community of readers and we're building communities of book lovers. And so every time you get a chance to add something to the comments, it adds to our community. Um, Also, are you interested in free books? Are you interested in a free book giveaway? Keep checking all the different bios for each of the episodes. I'll be putting links in there. You are welcome to like fill them out as many times as you want to, because one of the goals is for us to give away some books. So these are all books that I've read and I've kind of just kept on my shelf, and I'll pass them on to whoever wins the giveaway. I'm hoping to do between 2 and 3 this season. And then next season, oh, I'm so excited about next season, but we'll wait and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We get to the very last episode of this season. So, all that to be said, done with the housekeeping, time to talk about Crazy Rich Asians. So let me say, if you have watched the movie, good. Like you should watch the movie. It's a really good movie. I enjoyed that movie. I watched it again last night just because I was like, I just finished reading the book. I want to watch the movie again, see what I missed this time. And it was good that I did that because I feel like there were some things I had missed. Movies are high level, so you can only put so many things in a movie. So the details were always there. Sorry, that's how I was watching a movie last night, so I'm a little tired. Um, the details weren't all in there, so it was good that I had the book to kind of like refer to, and also, yeah, watch the movie. Okay, but we're here to talk about the book, and the book Crazy Rich Asians is so good. It's so much fun. It's so educational. It's so interesting. It's a page turner. I did not want to put it down. It took me a couple days to read it because life. But here we go. So I was like, where can you find the cover? Anyway, it might be hard because I'm doing red on red. But anyway, so I have the book right here in front of me. You can kind of see that I have. There it goes. You can see the book right here. It is by Kevin Kwan. Kevin Kwan is from Singapore. So he is Singaporean. And it's important because as you're reading this book, the one thing that they don't put into the movie that's really helpful in the book is a bunch of footnotes. And I mean like literal footnotes. As you're reading, I'll show you a couple of them. As you're reading the book, like there's some pages that have like footnotes on the bottom. Sorry, y'all. Like here, you can kind of see it. Just had it. Now my whole face is lost. But anyway, you can kind of, there's some footnotes on the bottom. There it goes. They're perfect. There we go. See on the bottom, there's footnotes right there. And it basically breaks down different like language for you because written in different languages, different kind of dialects. And so one thing you kind of get a chance to do is like to follow through and understand what's actually happening, because they do go back and forth between putting English in there and other dialects, different Chinese dialects that are put into the book. Lots of descriptions around food, lots of descriptions around like designers, lots of descriptions around like landscapes and landforms and locations, lots of descriptions around like terms that are used all the time. All that to say, like it's really going to be helpful for you to have those footnotes as you're reading this book. Okay, we already know, if you watched the movie, you already know Rachel and Nick are the two main characters. We know that Rachel is American born. Actually, she's not American born Chinese, but she lives in America. She was raised in America. And Nick is from Singapore. And they had been together for almost 2 years, according to the book. And they're really serious about each other. Like, they really love each other. And he and her are both professors at a New York university. They get a break, and he's like, let's go to Singapore. I haven't taken you home before. Like, let's go. Well, Rachel's really excited to do that. A little bit hesitant, but really excited to do that. And before they get a chance to really make any plans, someone overhears their conversation, who then kind of like sends a whole telegraph off to Singapore. Like, do you know Nick's coming? Nick's coming. Nick's also going for a wedding. So his best friend's getting a wedding, call him Koo. And well, here are the things that Rachel does not know. And here are the things that we kind of understand a little bit differently in the book than we do in the movie is that Nick has been raised to not talk about his money or his family, like at all. So, like, part of like his family culture is that you don't talk about how much money you have, and you don't talk about your family outside of family. So he's been raised like this, and to him, it's very normal. Just like I just don't talk about my family. Like my family is my family. Money doesn't really like matter because we don't really talk about money, and it backfires because Rachel doesn't understand really who she is with and the whole other side of who Nick is, which is like beyond rich, which is where the title Crazy Rich Asians comes from. I think some people might be misunderstanding or may have misunderstood that Crazy Rich Asians was like a bunch of, just crazy rich people who happen to be Asian. It's actually literally telling you these people are crazy rich, like so much money, right? I don't use the term crazy very often because I think it's very ableist, and also like it is offensive for people who maybe connecting it with like mental health. So when I talk about that in terms of like this book and this title, I'm just letting you know like how they're using that is like it is beyond your imagination, like how much money these people have, right? And they happen to be Asian and they're living in Singapore. And so their relationship with other Asians is very interesting. Like there's a whole thing about mainland China and then like Singapore and like different places are kind of around like the diaspora of Asia. And there's a class system and there's like, an elitism. And Kevin Kwan, like, is like our tour guide. He tells you everything, gives you all the tea, you have all the information about everything that's happening because you play like you're an insider in this book. So as we get a chance to kind of follow Rachel's story, she kind of discovers how, beyond rich Nick actually is. We also get to understand like why it's kind of like a thing, what their situation actually is. We get to meet all the aunties more intimately and all of their kids. We get a chance to meet more closely the cousins that Nick has and his friendships with like his best friend Colin, who actually has some struggles himself. Like they portray Colin in the movie really different than they portray him in the book. Um, and you know who else is really surprisingly different is Peg Lin, who is the one who Aquafina plays as Rachel's best friend in Singapore, is described very differently in the book. And so there's a lot of like kind of investigative things that are happening. And like we have people who've lived in Singapore for a long time and trying to figure out all the stuff they don't know because the other part about Nick's family is that because they don't talk about themselves, no one knows who they are. And no one knows about their situation very much. And so it's kind of like this big secret, which makes it really, really fun. So it's fun to like I stopped so many times like was googling up different things to kind of see what it looked like or like where it was located or what like what it felt like or smelled like or sounded like I was doing as much research as I was reading this book as I also was reading the story and having a good time. I think you're gonna like Crazy Rich Asians. I think you're gonna be surprised at like how many more details are in this book. And if you go back and read the book and then watch the movie again, you'll see all the things that you miss. I bet you and guarantee you there's a lot of things that you probably missed in the details because you didn't have all the information from the book. In general, I think it's always good to read the book first. Like helping read the book is first because it supports the authors and the authors don't make as much. The authors are giving the ideas to the storytellers who are putting it on film, right? But it's the authors who are actually telling the story. So give great credit to the authors first. Read the book. And then you'll be able to understand and appreciate the movie for what it is, like a nice high level version of a story that you really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Crazy Rich Asians. I was really excited to read this book. They have two more. I want to get them like right now, and I'm choosing not to, only because I have to like go back and like start reading other things like work stuff. And it'll really like will take me into a whole different kind of like energy. But the two different books that I see listed here are China Rich Girlfriend and Rich People Problems. So I'm going to try to hold off with reading them back to back, but you know what? I think I'm going to have to order them pretty soon because I'm really curious what happens next. This definitely is built up to like kind of a cliffhanger. So I want to see what's going to be happening next. This book is fun. You've never seen this much money before in your life, and how they spend it is ridiculous. And it makes it even more fun because it's a book and it's not your money. And Kevin Kwan does a really good job of kind of giving us an inside view of the elite rich in Singapore. Go on a tour. Go to Singapore today. Go watch Crazy Rich Asians and actually read the book Crazy Rich Asians and then go watch the movie. Thanks for being here.